Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alicia and today we are going to be budgeting for March. So I have all of my kits here with me. I have my budget kit version 1. This is with the March budget, the weekly check-in, the weekly balance, transaction log and sinking funds, savings tracker, and variable income. This is like the only one in a different design because I'm using the design 2 for the monthly as well. This one's the design 1. So I wanted to try to use both of them to show both of them some love. But I also have the full monthly kit here as well. This is with the monthly calendar with the little date dots along with the dashboard. And then I also have all 4 colors for the expense trackers for the Erin Condren and the none spent. I don't have the bill dues with me because I don't use the bill dues. I keep forgetting I'm gonna set this up in a different video because doing it all in one video takes way too long. So I'm gonna set this up in the next video. I also have this strip here, but I'm going to probably switch this out with our week 3 check-in. So I think you guys are going to see that next week. But I have this little strip down here. This is actually a part of the MyOliveBlue sheets. I didn't actually show it in the previous releases. For the MyOliveBlue, this actually is on the second page and there's these little tokens that you can use. Because for me, I've been using a little rogue dot, so I'm going to switch it out with one of these tokens. And I thought it would be cute for you guys to choose which one you want. You're able to kind of like switch them out too if one of them gets a little unsticky from peeling it up and putting it back down every single week. But I'm going to be using this in my weekly check-in. Now going to our March budget. For the savings tracker, variable income, and March budget, these are the spreads I'm going to be setting up today. The weekly check-ins as well as the sinking funds, we're going to set these up in a different video. Now let's go ahead and get started. I have my Erin Condren monthly planner with me. This is in the color blends design. We are currently in March, so we're gonna go ahead and flip. This is where I always have my March budget. We'll do the March budget and variable income first, and then we'll wrap up with the savings tracker. So for this March budget, or for our income in general, I figured I might as well talk about it a little bit since I realized that like I never really talk about our budget so in our family. So for our family, we are a family of 5. We have my husband, myself, our baby, and then we have a golden and a German shepherd. So it's just us over here, and this is the income and this is the budget that we have for us. So your budget of course might be different from ours. Let's see. Okay, so we have that one strip down. This is going to be the last month as well with this budget, since the following month is going to be the start of a new quarter. I actually have to do my well, I do have to do my first quarter results video, but that won't be going up until next month. And then I do also have to do my second quarter setup with you guys because we're going to be just making sure we change up some numbers and make sure everything looks good. And then I have my pen here. I always forget to say which pen I'm using too. I usually use the Energel Klena, but this one is the Muji pen. Both of these pens are just my favorites because I usually love the vibrancy of gel pens. We do general and then extra. So for March, we have $5,200 that we always estimate as our budget. And then you'll see the broken down estimate on the variable income. We'll leave it like that. Whatever the actual is, if it's like more money that came in, I'm gonna just go ahead and just transfer that straight over into our savings account for our long-term savings. I like to keep our exact amount of income private, so that won't be on camera for that portion. I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what I was saying. Or like, I don't remember the point I was getting at. It's a better thing to say. All right. And then for this month, the savings, I'm really excited to be able to fill that in with you guys because we got our tax returns last month, so I did a budget on camera with you guys what we ended up doing and how we split up our tax returns into the emergency funds in the back, because we have a 3 months of emergency funds. That's our goal for this year, so we were able to color some of them in, so I'm really excited for that. And I did do that on camera with you guys as well. I'm trying to make a great effort of doing like everything on camera so I can share with you guys. So sinking funds and ally, these will be the same amount as usually. These are our fixed expenses, and these are don't change. So we have sinking funds at $1,000 that we put in there, and then I'll have another video separating out which expense is what for sinking funds. That will be in the not the next video, but it should be going out sometime next week. And then we have ally. We set these numbers up at the beginning of the quarter. So this is our budget for the first quarter for January, February, and March. 1,000 times 3 is 3,000 since it's for 3 months. These are all those numbers for every single month multiplied by 3 for January, February, March. We're going to be doing our next quarter together. I don't really think too much is changing. I think one of the bills is going to be migrating over. Besides that, most likely everything else is going to stay the same. I'll probably have to do a more thorough look with you guys on camera when we set up the next quarter, but that is where I'm getting these numbers from. So that is going to be for the fixed side. For the variable expenses, what am I saying? That's going to be the fixed side for some of our expenses. There we go. And then let's go ahead and do our variable categories. These are kind of like our day-to-day expenses that we spend every single day. These are the ones that we check in together in our monthly view. So we have eating out, we have groceries, gas, allowance, and then pups and bean. Bean is what we call our baby, and these will be the same as well. So eating out will be 300. Groceries is 400, gas is 100, allowance 100, and then pups and bean is 100. This might change for gas because I feel like we've been kind of going out a lot more. So we've been running through our gas more so too. I believe last month we ended up being like in the negatives for gas. So for our next quarter, I think I'm going to adjust that amount so we don't keep having that problem. Especially with the nicer weather, I think we might be going out more often. Okay, so I need another thin washi, but I'm going to just grab that from this sheet for the variable income, since I only use one thin washi for this sheet. And then we will put in the remaining categories. So down here is where all of our bills lie. I like to separate out all of our bills from everything else because it's just easier for me to visually see how much we need per month. And I just really like separating out my categories like that because it's just easier for me to interpret each category. And if I have to make adjustments, I know which one can be altered versus ones that cannot be changed. So for our fixed bills, the first one we have is mortgage. And then this one, the total, it went up. I don't know if it's going to go up again this year, but it is now $2,222. We have our student loans for mine and then student loans for my husband's. These numbers are no longer accurate. This is what it was like pre-pandemic, but like I just didn't want to not incorporate them with our budget since like it's not like those bills are now gone. I can't write and talk at the same time, but it's not like those bills are actually gone because they're just paused for right now. So I wanted to continue incorporating them. But the only difference is that right now, when each month that goes, I just kind of transfer out the money to our savings instead. That's kind of what I've been doing this whole time during the duration of them being paused. just so we can kind of get ahead of like savings, as well as like they're paused right now, so interest is paused as well. So I figured I might hold on to them. Next year for sure is the year we're gonna focus on paying down our debt, so I'll probably have a debt confessions video and everything towards the end of this year, and then like a game plan. We'll talk about that then. So for right now, we have Netflix and Spotify. Both of them are the same amount of $10.59. I have a C next to both of them because I like to know which one comes out of credit card, because determining which one comes out of credit card versus checking account is really important for our budgeting system, especially since we are cashless budgeters. We mainly use credit cards for everything. Well, we do use credit cards for everything possible, just to build our credit and also to get that cashback rewards. So for HOA, this one is $80.66. I don't think this will change. Let me not go woods for this. I don't know if this will end up changing. So we'll probably keep this over here for our next quarter budget. And then we have HBO. This one comes out of credit card as well. This one is $15.89. So the total combined for all of our fixed bills, these expenses, the numbers do not change. That's why they are on my fixed side, since they're not gonna change. As far as I'm concerned, they should not change. But the total for them is $2,710 for all of the fixed bills. Now let's go ahead and talk about the variable bills. So for the variable bills, we have utilities, gas. This one we're estimating at $100 per month. I think for next year, the first quarter, I'm gonna bump this up because if I'm not mistaken, I think the last 2 months we ended up going over the budget. Am I hallucinating? Hold on. Yes, the last 2 months we ended up going over budget, so I just don't want that to occur again next year. So most likely next year we're going to alter this amount for the first quarter. For second quarter, I think we have to look at our patterns for the last 2 years, but I don't think it's as much. We'll have to see. The next one we have electric. And then I realize that I'm just talking and like I'm not really putting too much details behind it. So where I get the patterns for our bills is I do kind of record them in the back of my budget planner to see, like, for previous years, for 2022, for 2021, how much our utilities gas was at the beginning of the year, to see when our highest bills are. So for the summertime, as you guys can see, our gas bills go down to like the 30s for the past 2 years, which is nice. But the beginning of the year, during the winter times, it looks like it goes up to the hundreds, but that's kind of where I'm getting those numbers from. But for our utilities electric, we have $70 as an estimate. Next one is mobile. This one, the estimate is at $180. And then we have our internet. For our internet, I definitely underestimated this by accident, but it's okay. Next quarter, we're going to change this amount, so it won't be negative every single month. So we're going to leave it at that. All right, and then we have a holder. And for this holder category, if you guys are familiar with the way I budget, it's because I just really like even numbers. So you guys will see how this plays a part of it in a second. But let's go ahead and put down our last one for this sheet. Well, we have the little deco pieces, but we'll put those down in a second too. All right. Okay, that looks good. So the total for all of our estimated variable bills, since these are all estimated, these are subject to change every single month, even by like a penny or two, it still affects our budget. So the total for all the variable is $449.90. So let me put my little calculator down here. And then estimate for all of our bills, for the variable bills along with the fixed bills, this $449.90 plus the $2,710 equals to $3,150 that we are estimating that we will need to pay all of our bills for the month of March. And then I have an actual to write whatever the actual was that we ended up paying for bills, since the variable is likely to change. Now let's actually add up the rest of this as well. But first, let me do the lines and I'll be right back. All right, so all of my lines are down. Now let's add up the rest of these categories. So we know for our fixed, like the other expenses, 1,000 plus 50 equals $1,050. And then for our categories or our day-to-day expenses, these would always be, like I say in every video, these, if I were to use cash, these would be my cash envelopes. The total for this, the 300, 400, 100, 100, 100, this in total is $1,000 for those expenses. All right, so now let's go ahead and add everything up just so we make sure we're doing the zero-based budget. So we're gonna equal up to that 5,200 here. So we have 1,000 plus 1,050 plus the 3,150, and that equals to the 5,200. So we know we are zeroed out for the month of March, and this is what the spread looks like. Oh, let me actually lay down these additional pieces real quick. And then I will go ahead and put this for the savings tracker, because that's what I usually end up putting that. Now let's go ahead and do our variable income. And so for our variable income, this is to put any income that we have for the month of March, since whatever income that comes in for the month of March will be our budget for the month of April. Oh wait, March. Yeah, for April. Because how I like to do it is I like to be a month ahead. All of the funds that came in for February, for example, is the income for March. So I like to just be a month ahead. The reason why I like to have it this way is because I really like having the funds all like available for me at the beginning of the month, just so I don't have to worry about like funds coming in during the paychecks and then I don't have enough money to pay certain bills. Since I believe like the second week of the month is when all of our bills like to come out. So that's kind of why, like, ever since I changed the budget to be a month and ahead, it's just been the easiest for us. So that's just definitely a game changer for us that we just like to continue doing. So that just means that anything that comes in for the month of March will stay in our savings account, and then once April rolls around at the beginning of the month, we'll be able to transfer the money out. So for the first week check-in is probably when we're going to talk about the transfers of the funds. I think last month I did it during that period, but that was also because like I did the February budget really late. Right now I'm doing the March budget really early, so I'm not quite ready to make any transfers yet. So most likely for the first week of I'm gonna move this down, but most likely for the first week of March is when we'll do the transfers. So we have the budget ready at the beginning of the month. That's probably what I'm going to do. I just wanted to move this down because I have a lot of space down here. Down here for this portion, you guys might have seen me utilize it in the past. It's just for me to take down notes and stuff and put like anything that happened that month with our funds that is important for me to know. Like for example, I'll show you guys the previous month. So for example, for February, for the variable income, we had the tax returns and it auto transferred to our long-term savings, the $7,000, and we saved the extra for ourselves. So that's just something that I like to put in there for me to kind of take a mental note of. And these are how our accounts are set up. We have 2 checking accounts, 2 savings accounts. One is a long-term savings at a different institution, and then this short-term savings is kind of bundled together with our 2 checking accounts. I have more details about our checking accounts in a video that I'll link below, and I also do kind of like talk to you guys about them in each weekly check-in, just to kind of show you guys how this works. The reason why like I have them written down is because like I don't want to show my like bank account information. So I ended up just kind of drawing this out so you guys have a visual representation. So you guys have a visual representation of these. And I probably edited it out, but that word representation, it took me a minute to be able to say correctly. But yeah, so that is what these are for. I feel like I'm like babbling a lot in this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our lines. So I went ahead and wrote them down too for all of our paychecks for number 1 to 5. I realized for the month of March, we have 5 paychecks. So my husband should be getting paid 3 times. So I have 5 paychecks for the month of March. If you hear my daughter talking, she's just trying to say hi to you guys. But this is also what my mini months ended up looking like. I don't remember if I ever showed this on camera, but this is what the mini months looks like for the different paydays, birthdays. They're all color coordinated. And then for here is kind of like an overview or a detailed version of them. So if I see like purples on here for birthdays, I can just flip to March and see which one is which. So 13th, 22nd. So that's kind of what the color coordination looks like over here. But yeah, so for the month of March, we have 5 paychecks, which is really nice. So for all 5 paychecks, I'm going to do the same as usually. So we have 1,300, 1,300. And the reason why it's 1,300 is because we just decided that each time me and my husband gets paid, we're both going to transfer over 1,300 per a paycheck for our bills. And then whatever extra, there's a certain amount that we put towards savings as well, and then a certain amount that we keep for ourselves. But yeah, so this is just a set amount that we're pushing ourselves to be able to just use per month. So 1,300 times 5 for 5 different paychecks. The total for this month is $6,500. That will be our budget for April. But I'm just gonna put this here. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna put it here yet, but I'm gonna put it somewhere because like I still want to stick to that budget for the 5,200. So that extra paycheck, that 1,300, is gonna go straight to our savings. But we will do that together eventually in one of these videos. Maybe for the first quarter results, I'm thinking. I'm not quite sure, but it will happen eventually. Okay, so that is what these look like for the March budget and the variable income. Now let's go ahead and talk about our savings. So for our savings tracker, I'm going to use this design too for it. I just wanted to incorporate these colors as well because I really do enjoy both of the designs. And I'm actually going to, I don't think this will show because it's fairly light, but I just wanted to white it out just in case. So for our savings tracker, we are also going to be putting more into this too. Are we going to be recording more in here because of our tax returns from last month? So that's really, really fun. But I realized I won't be able to finish. I just thought about it and I realized I won't be able to finish every category of how much is in each because like I realized for MyOliveBlue, February is not over yet. So we still have some more rolls to do together. I'll probably have to do that on camera. I don't know in which video, but it will be in one of the future videos that I'll probably just fill in on camera with you guys. But we'll do all the other categories together though, for sure. So we have, oh, I'm doing the same thing I did last month. So I think I'm going to just do the buckets first so I know where to lay this line. So I'm going to do these washies, put this at the very bottom. And I'm going to write out all 8 buckets or put out 8 dots for 8 buckets. Let's use up the rest of this sheet first. So we have 1. And then this one's done. And I like to just break down the buckets here because our savings account for this one is with Ally. Ally has like this feature where you're able to break up your savings into different buckets. I think the maximum is 10. I should probably really figure that out instead of like guessing. I can swear I saw that it was 10 somewhere. My daughter's over here trying to talk over me. But yeah, so I break down them into buckets because like I feel like breaking the funds down to a smaller amount, it makes it easier for you to be able to achieve, like mentally it's not as overwhelming. But let me put down this washi to split this up, and then we are going to put this last washi down to complete our savings tracker. And then for our savings tracker, we kind of like put whatever that's going in here together on camera. Now I'm gonna do the lines real quick and I'll be right back. So that is what this spread looks like. I actually really love this colorway for this one. Hold on, let me see. I want to see a side by side. So I'm really happy I'm using both of them for this month. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the different buckets. So for our different buckets, our first bucket, I won't be able to fill in all the way since February is not over, so I don't really know what exactly how much is in this category, but we're gonna put Savopoly. And for the goal, this account, there is no goal because like we're just trying to save as much as we can, so there is no percentage to that goal. The amount in here I'll have to fill in afterwards. But let's do emergency funds. So emergencies, this account, our goal is $12,500 by the end of 2023. And where I got that number is when we did our 2023 budget setup with our emergency funds. We are aiming for the 3 months of emergencies. So I just rounded it to 12,500 to have 3 months of emergency funds by the end of 2023. So currently in this account, after tax returns from last month and after the last 2 months of saving the $50, it is at $7,100. I think for April, this is going to change a lot too, because whatever we have in Savopoly, I'm going to transfer over to emergencies, is what I'm thinking, but we'll talk about that more later. So we are roughly 56.8% of the way there to our goal. So that is like a huge chunk that we've accomplished at the beginning of the year so far, and it's all thanks to tax returns. We're very lucky and blessed to be able to get that much back. We usually never get that much back. It's usually only like 2,000 at most or 3,000. But I think because having our home and having a baby, it affected our tax returns quite a bit. I don't really know how tax returns really works and how it gets calculated, but that's kind of what I'm guessing because those are the only life changes we really had. But the next goal after that is for our pups. We have a goal of $1,500. The rest of these buckets, I'm just going to share the bucket name and the goal, but I'm not currently sharing how much is in each one. But for Bean is our babies category, we don't have a set goal for this one either. It's just kind of like NA, so however much gets saved is how much gets saved. And then the amount. Next, we have our home category. This one, our goal is, what is it? Oh, it's 15,000. That's right. I could change this to 15,000 because we got rid of our fence category. It's just kind of the saving up. This could be for home for anything. I ended up changing this to more like a more generic account, so it could be for like any home improvement things. It could be for saving for our next home. It could be anything like that. So for right now, the goal is 15,000 because that's kind of just what we landed at last time. The next one is for new car. This one, the goal is still at 25,000, and the biggest reason is because we just won't be able to afford like a high monthly payment for a car. But we're not planning to get a new one, not until like the next couple years. So that's kind of what that new car category looks like. And then we have vacations. And for this one, the goal is at 5,000. And then we have a percent in there and an amount. And we have another bucket, the 8th one, but like I just don't show that on camera because like it's a little bit more personal to us. So that one is going to remain off camera, but this is kind of what the savings tracker looks like, and I'll be sure to fill in Savopoly with you guys maybe at the end of February for the February results video. I think that will probably like be the spot that fits the most, right? Let me just get rid of this one so that sheet is now done as well. And yeah, so that is actually going to be it for this video. These are the 3 spreads that we just set up together as well. And thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye!